Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. In this video we will discuss some developments in the Middle East. And that is, Turkey copies Western democracy, which is arresting the opposition if they have a chance to win. Erdogan arrested his rival days before becoming presidential candidate. I don't want you to criticize this because they do exactly what these guys are doing in France with Marine Le Pen, exactly what those guys are doing in Babunstein, Romania, with Călin Georgescu, and what these guys will do with the Alternative für Deutschland in Germany, and so on. And they tried here in the United States of America for 4 years to make sure that Donald Trump signs the paper to be selected and then elected by us. So that is one. Then there's a massive protest in Turkey. Because of this arrest. But hey, did they solve anything in Romania? Nah. Did they solve anything in France with yellow vests? Nah. Or with a pension reform? Nah. No, you can go and protest until the military says we're gonna intervene and support the demonstrators. No revolution is successful. Put that in your head. Next one, Putin sends a letter to the Syrian leadership, to the reformed jihadist, that is like a reformed rapist, without being convicted ever. But he reformed. So you have an Inquisition priest, and after he puts a lot of guys on the burning stake over there, he just gets reformed in one day, and he's a nice guy now. He's a washed guy, clean guy, all right? But hey, his past, he's reformed, man. Like Stalin would show up now and say, or Moses from the Bible, would say, you know what, I'm a reformed guy right now. I'm not going to erase any other Canaanites or other nations over there that we were given order to take over. No. I'm just a reformed guy, man. I'm going to bring you the laws. All right. The Houthis, those bad people in Yemen, shot down another US MQ-9 reconnaissance drone over center of Yemen. Remember, the Americans said, if you're going to attack the maritime communication and transportation routes, we are going to defend the world, not Israel, the world. And the baboons are, yes, in the name of freedom of navigation, yes. And they attack our ally in the Middle East. All right, so that's another one. And then we find out why, the media tells us why, Israel resumed the war in Gaza. That is, violated the truce, the ceasefire. And guess what? I can tell you from here and right now, it was Hamas' fault. We got that to the bank. All right, now go and cash it out. I'm going to show you why. And while I'm reading this beautiful article from NBC News, okay, we're going to find details. You know what the details are? Mr. Witkov Stein, the Middle East envoy, appointed by the Americans to deal with the Middle East, he's Jewish. He goes and talks to Netanyahu, and he's going to be impartial, discussing with the guys in Gaza, with the Palestinians, okay? But the guy is very much involved with another Stein, which is Zelensky Stein in Ukraine. But he is the Middle East envoy. Last time I checked, Ukraine and Russia are not really, in... okay, all right? But he's involved. So let's start with the first one. How Erdogan copies Western democracies. If we're about to lose, we're going to arrest you. Russia Today, 19th of March 2025. Erdogan rival arrested days before becoming presidential candidate. Istanbul mayor Ekrem İmamoğlu has been detained on charges of corruption and alleged terror links, with his party calling it a coup. All right, well, this guy was arrested. The same thing they said about Mr. Georgescu in Romania. The same thing they did with Marine Le Pen, embezzlement and all that. The decision will be within 2 weeks. I think it's 1 week and a half, and we find out that Marine Le Pen cannot run for presidency. Barred, just like that. Why? Not a good person like you and I. But if we would be the candidates and we would have a little bit of a different opinion than the narrative they were supposed to follow, they will find something, and if they don't, they make up one. That's how world goes about, my friends. And here is the demonstrations. Thousands protest arrest of Istanbul mayor on the 20th of March 2025. This guy, Ekrem İmamoğlu, has been detained on charges of corruption and alleged terror links. Okay, how many times this kind of protest work? As I said, until the military or outside agencies did not get activated, and even if you activate the outside agencies, if they don't have their boys inside the military, the revolution is not going to be successful. It's not. People, let's say you go, oh, I want you, let's protest, let's go. People, let's say we are 200,000 people in the capital. And these guys send, I don't know, about 20 people with some okay? And they say, all right, guys, order, this is unlawful gathering right here. You got 3 seconds to go. 2, 1, from 300,000, I think 299 will leave. We're going to have a few guys that are going to say, let's go. Yeah? All right. They're all gone. They are all gone. That's how revolution, and they try to destabilize the country. Elected government, elected officials. And you, with your agencies, try to destroy, have a coup d'etat. That's how it works. Do you think in Kiev, in 2014, if Mr. Yanukovych would have said, okay, military, go and take care of those guys from abroad that are instigating here. Pick them one by one, which people say that he did. No, he didn't. Send over there 1 battalion. Clear the Maidan like that. Oh my God, and he's going to come in front of you and going to say, I did it for you. I did it for you. To protect you from the evil, whomever. Who's the boogeyman we're supposed to point? Oh, that guy over there. And that's it. That's how you do it. Now, if you have the media in your hand, and you have it because you have the military, and the military goes and knocks at the door at the studio where the media is. This studio, that studio, and that studio. And they take care of it in the name of defending you and democracy. So this guy is just protecting democracy European style. Not even European style, because it happened in America. For 4 years we saw these criminals going after Donald Trump. Anyway, let's go and see what Putin has to do with a Syrian reformed leader. What do you think he wants? It's going to be probably a veiled threat. Well, like they all do it, but it's going to be nicely put. Putin sends letter to new Syrian leadership. How did they get in charge? By elections. We love democracy, don't we? Oh, the right people are in charge. Okay, got it. The Russian president has supported the new government's efforts to restore stability. So he said, you know what? Let's have stability over there, maybe, so let's talk a little bit. Russian President Vladimir Putin has sent a letter to his Syrian counterpart. Syrian counterpart, that means he's a president if it's a counterpart. Ahmed al-Shara, voicing his support for efforts to restore stability in the country. The message comes after a recent surge of violence in the war-torn country, which Moscow has strongly condemned while calling for swift election to resolve the crisis. But what do you think the swift action? I was like jumping on it. Swift action, what does that mean? According to Peskov, in his message to the Syrian leader, Putin expressed his support for efforts to swiftly stabilize the situation in the country in the interest of preserving its sovereignty, independence, unity, and territorial integrity. And Israel bombs the shit out of them whenever they feel like in self-defense. Great. But nobody touches that. Putin also reaffirmed Russia's commitment to fostering practical cooperation with Damascus on a full range of bilateral issues, with the goal of strengthening the traditionally friendly Russian-Syrian relations. That's going to change if Washington tells them this reformed jihadist. And I think that's what it is. So, my friends, that's all right. These guys are telling us about, about the letter. Bashar al-Assad, the former ruler, leader, how you want to call it, of the Syrian people, he is in Moscow at this point, very well guarded. Next one. Sputnik. Houthis shut down another MQ-9 Reconnaissance drone over center of Yemen. So, didn't the Americans say that if they dare to do anything else, we're going to clean them up? In the name of what? Now, if you want to solve a problem, you have to identify the problem first, and then you go to the origin. The, how do you call it, the stressors, the originators. What caused this thing over there? And you go to, I don't know, the Balfour Declaration. Let's start with that one. And when you get with the Balfour Declaration, you think of the First World War, then you go to the Second World War, then you go to 1948, and then after 1948, with the displacement of, okay, then you have it, and then self-defense and so on. That's how you solve the problem. The problem, big problem, is that the guys that should be, told which way to go, they probably have nuclear weapons. So that means, what are you going to do? I know what you're going to do. I think in the name of peace and our defense and protection, I think those nuclear weapons should be removed swiftly by the Americans. How? Well, in about 1 hour and a half operation. That's all. Bam, bam, boom, boom, and freeze the whole thing, and then remove them, and then guarantee those people over there that safety and security. I don't know, maybe go to Madagascar. I have no idea. I just said Madagascar, but hey, don't quote me on that one. All right. So let's see how the media jackals, the operatives, are portraying the violation of the ceasefire in Gaza. Here, I just put this right here. Why Israel broke ceasefire? Because he did, but hey. Why Israel resumed the war in Gaza? Why Israel broke the Gaza ceasefire? NBC News. I said, let's pick this one, which I did. And here it is. Why Israel broke its fragile truce in Gaza and is promising more strikes. And they tell us that, you know whose fault it was. It was not Israel's, obviously. And then we find out here, look at, horrible. We got right here. This is what I said. Oh, I learned something. Not surprisingly, but details. But the second phase never began after Netanyahu said that he accepted the plan by Steve Witkoff, Trump's special envoy to the Middle East. Now, Witkoff is Jewish. This guy is also Jewish. So America sends in the Middle East one guy who might not be impartial because, over there to deal with the Palestinians. Do you think Mr. Witkoff is impartial? I don't know. Do you think so? If you don't, think of real life. Let's say if you're a Romanian or a Hungarian. Let's say Romania and Hungary, let's get at it and started a little war. And let's say I, a Romanian-born baboon, I'm just appointed by Donald Trump as a Romania, Europe or Eastern Europe envoy. But I'm Romanian, and I'm going to go over there to deal with the Romanians, negotiations with the Hungarians. Do you think I will be impartial? Oh, swear God, I will be. All right? That's exactly what has been happening in the Middle East. You had Kushner being over there and dealing with the Middle East. I want to see a Palestinian. I want to see an Iranian envoy, Iranian-born envoy going in the Middle East and dealing with Palestinians and with the Israelis. They could find a sold-out one, no problem with that. But I don't see a Palestinian being the envoy. I see only these guys. Why is that? And you know why. They're better than us. So here it is, my friends, and that's not all I found. And remember, this guy, Witkoff, he's also involved in Ukraine. Ukraine is not in the Middle East. Why is he over there? Because Zelensky is Jewish too. So someone is protecting their eggs? I don't know, I'm just saying. All right, to extend a ceasefire for 50 days to discuss phase 2, a proposal that was immediately rejected. You got it? And this is what we find. Israel military called Thursday's strikes preemptive and suggested without providing any evidence that Hamas was attempting to rearm. Can you take that back now? No. Let's say tomorrow Iran hits Israel preemptively because Israel is ready to, launch a nuclear attack on Iran without providing any evidence. What do you think will happen the next day? Or now, what do you think? Are we at war with Iran? But here, they discuss and they discuss. Nobody does anything. You know why? They have nuclear weapons. That's why they don't do anything. And they have the baboons in America shackled. Like baboons that they are. And those supposedly are our representatives. So here it is, my friends. It's a little update from the Middle East. Erdogan follows the European Union's ways. and Western ways now. So probably he's going to be part of European Union if he applies these things. Demonstrations that will help, as it helped the French with yellow vests and with how do you call that? Reform, retirement reform, pension reform. They had millions of people demonstrating day after day after day, or week after week after week. And did they solve anything? No. Macron, the president-elect, got that little law in his hands, snatched it from the Grand Assembly of French elected baboons, got it, signed it, and sent it over. And it was all legal. And it's right there, you have it. You're going to retire at 65. Bravo, good job. One guy, but it's a democracy. And these guys went outside, they fought, they got pepper sprayed, they got with water and all that. Anything happened? Nothing. But that's democracy. The will of the people, they haven't. This is what should have been done. Conduct a referendum. But they don't do it, including America. Conduct a referendum regarding, I don't know, the LGBTQ, baby, boo, boo, boo. They don't dare. Why? Because they know. So the will of the people is not the will of the people. All right? It's not the will of the people. All right. And then what we have? We have Putin talking with a reformed jihadist over there. Whenever these guys tell me about that guy, I'm thinking of a reformed rapist without being convicted or serving any time. But he's reformed overnight. I mean, I changed. All right? Or Stalin, I changed. And then we got the Houthis shooting down another drone. And what the Americans will do, they will do whatever the other guys I'll tell them to do, which is use you and I, our children's future, to do something. Attack what? Iran? Iran is not, I don't even want to think about it. And you find about Vitkov again, and you find about preemptive strikes. How do you like the preemptive strikes? You have a neighbor, let's say the neighbor, have an argument with a neighbor. You don't like the neighbor. Okay, and one day he comes out when you go outside to go shopping. He comes outside and he boom, boom, boom, boom, boom. Then he's going to justify to the police. Preemptive strike, man. I think you were about to me. So preemptively, I solved the problem. What are you going to do? Huh? And the police says, oh, stop. No. Okay. All right. Let's discuss why did he do it. Do you think that's the way it works? It works over there. I wonder why. Well, I don't wonder actually, because I know why. I can't say it here, but I think it's very self-evident. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.